Hey, this is the Entertainment Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is the problem with the history movie genre. Okay, in other words, the problem with history movies. Okay, so for this video, I'm going to discuss the problem with history movies that I tend to see over and over again, and not just a problem with it, but a message for this video to go alongside that, if anything. So now that I've mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of were history movies, the problem with history movies, more like, what exactly is the problem with history movies? Simply put it, the problem with history movies is not really history movies themselves, but the problem with it is actually the fans of history movies. Specifically, not just fans, but a specific fan base. Specifically, to be even more specific, the historian fan followers of history movies, the history movie genre, to be even more specific. The historian fan base of that movie genre, history movies, okay? That is the problem with history movies, okay? Is the historian, fan base of it, okay? And the reason why I say that, even though of course it's going to be considered a hot take, even though commenters would kind of indicate that it's not a hot take, is simply down to the fact that historians who tend to watch these movies don't really understand the main concept of a movie, okay? The main concept of a movie is entertainment, okay? To be quite blunt and honest with you, when you're watching a movie, you want something to escape reality, okay? You want something that, even though it might not make sense in real life, makes sense in a movie because it makes it more entertaining and interesting and actually watchable to people, okay? That is the honest truth of the matter, okay? That's why people watch movies, okay? Because they want to be entertained, But these historians, whenever you have a movie, even movies like 300, the movie 300 that made as clear as day, that yes, do not take this seriously as, of course, a movie that's actually historically accurate. These historian people still bash the movie and still say that movie was terrible, it's not historically accurate at all. Why is Xerxes, this tall, guy who looks like he's a goth from the early 2000s, and the Spartans didn't wear this particular type of armor at this time or use this type of sword, and there weren't actually 300 people in the battlefield for the Battle of Thermopylae, and the battle, which I think is the battle between the Greeks and the Persians and all that type of stuff. When they made it as clear as day, this is a movie for entertainment, we're not being serious here. So to answer your question, simply put it, the whole argument these people make, when it comes to these movies not being historically accurate is so stupid, especially when you take into consideration the fact that these movies are meant for entertainment, okay? And the thing is, of course, people are going to make the argument, maybe, it could, be a little bit better, it could still be a bit more historically accurate, but what the fuck does that mean, what the hell does that mean, to be quite honest with you, because the truth of the matter is, for people who complain so much about how history movies suck, for that matter, to be quite blunt and honest with you, you never ever hear them actually being willing to make their own movies, and not even make their own movies, but support people who would be interested in making historical movies, because there actually are people who do that, and you never hear those people supporting that at all. So to answer your question, simply put it, to be quite blunt and honest with you, the whole argument these people make is so stupid, because not only are they not willing to make their own stuff, they just consistently shoot down a genre that in of itself not only is meant for entertainment, and they kind of make it clear, yeah, this is not historically accurate. They also bash out a genre that actually helps promote history to people, which of course, through promoting history, can get more people to be interested, and not just interested in history, but as a result of being interested in history, it can also help make people learn the lessons people learn from history, which of course historians always want. They want people to like history and for history to be mainstream, okay? Whether it could be the lessons and just maybe just simply down to, you know, the fact that there's other people who like what they like or whatever, for that matter, okay? The simple truth of the matter is, these historians always want their genre to go big, but at the same time, when they have an opportunity to make it go big, they still complain that, oh, well, these movies, are not historically accurate and stuff like that, even though the thing is that this is helping to promote these movies and the entertainment, of course, alongside that, that it gives, make it more likely people not only be able to, of course, watch movies but enjoy them. Okay, to be quite blunt and honest with you. So the argument that they make absolutely makes no sense. Especially in a world where, as they say, people don't have any interest in history for that matter. Okay, and they always say people who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Okay, and that's the honest truth of the matter. So they kind of answer their own question of like why people don't care about history. When every time they actually have an opportunity to promote something, through history, they complain about the historical inaccuracies. Even when they make it as clear as day, we're not trying to be historically accurate at all, which is so dumb, to be quite blunt and honest with you, because the truth of the matter is why it's so dumb, is that obviously especially in this world we live in nowadays, okay, if there's a huge amount of people, who have a massive issue with something, even if overall it's a small portion of the overall population, like 5, 10, 50%, you'll be surprised how many people will actually, in the entertainment industry, specifically the filmmaking industry like we're talking about, will actually listen to it. Because even if a small portion of something don't support something, it can actually have massive negative effects on, of course, the amount of money they make. Because these people who run these industries want to make as much money as possible, and if a huge portion of the population are not satisfied, then they're less likely to produce that product, okay? And obviously, if you have a lot of people who are always complaining history movies suck and this and that, you're going to have obviously more movie executives to say, okay, why don't we just not cover history? Because every time we cover history, people are just going to say it fucking sucks. It's so stupid, to be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? To be fair, okay, maybe yes, they could make some movies at least more historically accurate, to be honest with you, but these people don't even want some movies to be historically accurate. They want all movies to be historically accurate, that are history movies. That doesn't make any sense, whatsoever. So because the truth of the matter is that's just dumb. So to answer your question, simply put it, without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest problem with the history movie genre is the historian fan base themselves, okay? Because they hit on everything. Don't even play the game that they're just tired of hearing the same, of course, bullshit, all the time, about, well, movies are meant for entertainment, or what I actually meant, to be more specific, the fact that, most of the movies, history movies that are made are meant to be entertainment. No, it's not even that. They just hate anything if it's not historically accurate, even when they make it as clear as day that it's not historically accurate. So in short, to sum up what I'm trying to say here, they want all movies to be historically accurate that are history movies, which is so dumb, to be quite blunt and honest with you. And that's one of the reasons why the history movie genre is not as popular as it once was. Because every time they do make history movies, people always complain, oh, it's not historically accurate and this and that, which is just so ridiculously stupid. Because the truth of the matter is, this is helping you guys. This is getting people to know who, of course, about history and stuff, instead of just these boring generic videos where they just talk all the time about how terrible history was. How the fuck is that going to get people interested in history? And most history videos are just like that. And that's so dumb. And that's the truth of the matter. So in short, this is the message I had for this video. And just to end this off, if there's a message for this video, is that don't bite the hand that feeds you, okay? If you want something to be popular, you have to support it, okay? Saying that you hate something, because it's not a completely accurate or whatever reason, when it's helping to promote you, doesn't make any sense whatsoever, okay? And that is the honest truth of the matter, okay? Because these people, it's not even a case of they want at least some historic movies to be historically accurate. They want all movies to be historically accurate. So the fact that they claim that they want history to be more known among the masses, yet they are actively do stuff that goes against something that, of course, helps promote it, which is history movies, is a sign of biting the hand that feeds you, okay? So in short, if you want something to be promoted, you have to support it. And saying that you don't support it is simply dumb and stupid, and that is the truth. So anyway, this is my video. This is all to say. I hope you found it entertaining as well as informative. And simply put it, I'm out. So bye.